All right, welcome into the 2A Boys State Basketball Tournament Preview Show. I am Paul Kingsbury, and I'm joined tonight by the color guy extraordinaire, one of my favorite color guys to work with, Mr. Glenn Jones. Glenn's looking down right now. All you can see is the B on his hat. There you go.
I just woke up. I was supposed to be on an hour ago.
Old man Winter over here trying to get on. I know it's past your bedtime, and I apologize for that.
Hey, sporting the Bora hat right now.
I see that. I remember when we used to do the video with the games, when we sit up top, we'd have to pause all the time because your fans from Bora would be mauling you for autographs. And it was fantastic.
You know, it's a tough life.
Well, like everybody else, tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with us, what you did before you retired 30 years ago.
Well, I was a teacher, coach, athletic director at West Junior High in Boise, coached football, basketball, and track, all of them for around 20 years each, and retired in 2014. And how long have I been with you? When did you start?
We started the site before the turn of the century, and we started broadcasting in 2005, I think. Okay. So, yeah.
So I've been 20 plus years, and I'm back in the day. You and me and Gary did every championship game. Those were long days, rugged times.
The average.
What's that?
I said good for the blood, bad for the average.
Good for the blood, bad for the average. Nothing but iron, baby. I use that now. I taught.
You're supposed to. You didn't come in. I led you with it, and you didn't come in with it.
No, sorry. I taught Joel that.
Nice. Good. So yeah, Glenn, you've been around a long time with Idaho Sports, and so we've got a tournament to talk about, and the 2A tournament is also going to be a good one. It was 1A Division I last year, of course, but let's take a look at the bracket for the 2A boys. Kendrick Hagerman, Valley Grace, Kamei, Victory Charter, Lakeside, Riverstone. So what game on day one jumps out at you, Glenn?
The one right out of the chute. I like Kendrick Hagerman game. I think. Well, let's just take a look at those. I like Hagerman in an upset here. To be honest with you, I like the way they're playing. They have a nice mix of 3 seniors, 4 juniors, a couple of sophomores and freshmen. They all contribute. I was looking down here on Hagerman's team, Kason Knight and Will Mavenkamp, 2 freshmen. Knight's averaging 7.7 points and 4.5 rebounds. That's not bad. That's for a freshman on the year. Mavenkamp 5.2 and 3.4. So those aren't even the stars of the team. I like the way Hagerman plays as a team, scoring a little over 60 points a game and giving up 49. That's a little bit of a concern for me. The other concern is for Hagerman is, can they rebound? They have 4 guys that average between 4.5 and 6.5 rebounds. Nobody really stands out. You don't have that one guy that's pulling down a double-double or averaging 9.5 rebounds. So that's a little bit concerned. Can they clean the boards? So
maybe it's because they make all their shots.
If you make your shots, you don't have to rebound. Isn't that right?
Well, Glenn, Kingston Knight, his mom is the head coach, Katie Knight, and she is the nicest person you will ever meet. She's actually was a broadcaster for. She's the busiest person in the world. Between family, coaching, refereeing down there, she does it all. And she's now has been the boys basketball coach. Got him to state, and like you said, they've got a pretty good chance of moving on after day one.
Yeah, and they have what looks like a tough draw right out of the chute with Kendrick. Coach Kirkman has them coming in at 17-7, the number 3 seed. They beat Kamei, upset them, if you will, 52-46. Sent Kamei into the play-in bracket. That was pretty fun to watch. And then, they score 58.6 points per game. They're giving up 47. They're a team to reckon with. However, they only have a couple of seniors. And when you get to state time, I'm a firm believer in experience is the straw that stirs the milkshake.
That's just because you are a senior. You're kind of predisposed to rooting for seniors. That's the way it works. God, I love working. Aiden is in. Kendrick, up the beat. Going to be even better next year. Still missing one of the best players in the state, Nathan Twite. Yeah.
Boy, Nathan Twite. Was he fun to watch the last couple of years? My goodness, that guy was. He was on a different level.
Kristen writes in. Just include Go Cubs, and we're going to talk about Kamiah here in a second. And
you want to take a look at the next game?
Well, I want to get this comment real quick. Hang on a minute. When will Idaho finally adjust their bid format so the great teams are not sitting at home for the state tournament? Too many great teams sitting at home when they had one hiccup at districts. They did redo the format. We are in the new format. So it is what it is, which it's going to be this way for a while, unless you come up with a better idea. All right, let's take a look at the bracket. So, did you have something on that one?
Yeah, well, there's only 8 teams that get to go to state.
Yep.
Right there, you're limited to team number 9 and 10, 11, 12 have legitimate arguments, but hey, dude, you only take 8.
Regionals.
There you go.
Saying. So next up, Valley Grace. Now, we've got one team in the entire state that's undefeated, and that's Valley.
Yes.
The number 2 seed going up against Grace.
Yes. I got more to say about that right there.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about this?
Okay, that gets the coach in me going. In the NFL, they call that bulletin board material. You know, you go out there and you're given a schedule, and you go through that schedule. And not only do you go through the schedule, but you are the number in this tournament. You're the number 2 team in terms of scoring, and you're the number 2 team in terms of team defense of all the teams in the tournament. And you're undefeated, and you get a number 2 seed. Boy, if I was a coach, I'd be talking to my kids big time about a little bit of motivation and a little bit of revenge and, chip on the shoulder kind of thing. That's bulletin board material for me.
Welcome in Ryan Scaggs. He's actually filling in for Brandon, talking about the North teams a little bit, and I completely forgot. That's my fault, Ryan. I apologize.
No worries. Yeah, I was sitting here in the green room, and I'm like, I don't know if he's going to use me. I could go hang out with family. But yeah, I mean, to kind of echo what Glenn's been saying, I mean, like, you look at going back to just Kendrick and what they're able to do defensively. I mean, they're able to stretch the floor. Yeah, they're missing their best player, but Raleigh Rotsitzer has been tearing it up for the Tigers, and that matchup with Hagerman is going to be a great game. I think that's going to be a round 1 gem of a matchup that you guys get right out of the chute.
Absolutely agree on that one. So that next game, we're looking at Kamiah Victory Charter. Got a lot of Kamiah fans watching. I know that for a fact. And Victory Charter, charter schools here in the Valley, coming in at number 8. The Vipers have any chance there?
Based on what I've seen with Kamiah, no. Go ahead, Glenn.
They have 2, Slim and None, and Slim just left the building.
All right.
Yeah.
No, Kamiah. Kamiah. What's great about Kamiah is if you can count a loss as being good. When they lost that game and they were sent into, you got to go to the play-in now. You got to keep winning to get to the play-in, to get to the tournament, and you have 20 plus wins on the season. They're kind of going, it's gotten real. And they responded by putting up, I think, 147 points in the next 2 games, kind of going, I think we should be there, and nobody's standing our way. That kind of momentum, especially 147 points coming in, after that loss to get back into the tournament and claim the number 1 spot. That's pretty awesome.
With Clute, he's going to College of Idaho, and it's not just Dave Clute, though. I mean, like, you got Matthew Oatman went off for 25 against Logos. That's a team that's missing from this tournament, in my opinion. That Logos team is really good. Brandon and I talk about it every week, how good this district is. District 2 is unbelievable. And, so it doesn't surprise me Kendrick was finally able to get Kamiah and nip them. Kendrick had been hanging tough all year. Kamiah, I don't want to say they're playing too close to the sun, but just matchup wise, that was not their night. And you know, this Kamiah team, though, I look at it and you go into the, if you look ahead to the next round, if Kamiah gets the win, and we'll talk about the next game, but this, you know, I don't want to say it's their tournament to lose. I think Valley could very much give them a challenge if they make it to the championship, but they got to get by Lakeside or whoever else it is next, because you know, they only beat Lakeside by 11 this year. So,
well, Jet Wood, he plays for the Vipers, plays for Victory. He's been waiting since the 6A. He's been here for a while. So go Vipers, upset in the making. So
we love, you know, and half the Viper Victory Charter lineup is freshmen or sophomores. They only have 10.
Jet, I'm giving you permission. When you go to the gym, walk up to these guys and just slap them. Say, hey, talk down about your charter. You have permission. I give it. All right, let's look at Lakeside Riverstone. There was a guy in the comments talking about. Oh, that was you, Ryan, before I brought you in.
That was me, because I didn't know if you were going to bring me on.
And, of course, Lakeside's gone over 80 points 9 times this year. So they're scores, right? They're scores. And going up against Riverstone, the number 5. So in the other classifications, we've seen this number 4 versus number 5 to round out the night being possibly one of the best games of the day. Is that going to be the case here in the 2As?
Go ahead, Glenn, because you know Riverstone better than I, but I have my feelings about this game.
Okay, I'll start with Riverstone, all right? They have a lot of team chemistry. They have a lot of senior experience. 9 of their 10 players are seniors or juniors, all right? Been there before, okay? They have a great record, 20-2. They've done everything they've been asked. They are the best team defense in the tournament at 35.5 points per game they give up, okay? They scored about 55.5 points per game, so they can put the rock in the hoop as well. They can do it, but they're going to have to play, I think, their best game right out of the chute to beat Lakeside.
Yep. Yeah. And this Lakeside team is legit. I mean, you know, I live 20 miles away. I watch them play a lot. And I mean, if you don't know who Tyson Charlie is, you're going to find out round 1. He is a walking double-double. He averages a double-double per game. I mean, he's legit. And it's not just Tyson, though, because, like, you got Jalapeon in the lineup, Furious Louie, which probably has one of the cooler names of anybody in the tournament at any classification. That's pretty awesome. Preston Spotted Horse and Jaden Plouffe. I mean, like that 5 lineup is really good. And the teams that they lost to this year, they lost to Kamiah, you know, the number 1 seed. Inchelium and Washington, they're playing in the B tournament in Spokane. Lapway beat them once, and Potlatch beat them. I mean, those are, you know, we talk about the White Pine, and then they lost to Lake Roosevelt, who's another B school in Washington playing in the state tournament. So, you know, this team is battle tested, and when they won the state championship, you know, their last championship they won, I mean, it kind of talked like everybody was talking about Lapway, and it's looking like, you know, can they play the sneaky team that comes from behind with, you know, great team defense and great guard play, and can they do it again? And maybe, you know, I think personally, I think this might be the most lopsided game of the 4 in the first round, just based on what I'm seeing, and just knowing this Lakeside team and the way they can score. I know Riverstone fans probably won't be a big fan of mine after saying that, but this Lakeside team's legit. Just not a lot of people watch them play.
Yeah, you just pissed off a lot of
you know, 76 points a game speaks for itself. That's you look at that average and you just go, my goodness, how do they do that? They get up and down the court, and I'm really anxious to watch that. Not to jump ahead, Paul, but I'm anxious to watch Tyson Charlie as well. So Lakeside they're the number 1 team offensive wise in the tournament, and I think they're going to make some noise. I would not be surprised if Lakeside comes through that bracket and goes to the championship game. I believe they've been to the championship game the last 2 years, right? They got a second and a first place, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they won a championship back in 2019 or 20 or something like that. I mean, Coach Two Teeth is a name that doesn't get thrown out a ton in the basketball circles in the state of Idaho. He can coach. I mean, I don't care who you give him. He'll turn him into a winner. And, I mean, this Lakeside team's legit. I'm looking forward if both things go to chalk. If a semifinal matchup with Kamiah, holy cow, Glenn, get your popcorn because that's going to be a handy of a ball game.
Yes, I think so too.
Let's talk about our players to watch, guys. 2A players to watch: Braden Kimball out of Grace, Kai Kendall, Hagerman, Tyson Charlie of Lakeside, David Clute of Kamiah, Raleigh Rotsasender of Kendrick, Amer Senga from Riverstone, Pedro Robles from Valley, and Cody Luce of Victory Charter. So who are you guys looking forward to seeing play? Ryan, go.
I mean, Hagerman's going to need Kai Kendall to be Kai Kendall in that first game with Kendrick. I mean, we know how dynamic he is on the football field. They're going to need a Herculean effort from him. I think, he's a guy that can take over a game. Hagerman, if they're going to push Kendrick in that round one matchup, it's going to fall probably on his shoulders. The two right there kind of in the middle, Tyson Charlie, Dave Clute, in my opinion, man, those are two very dynamic players. Dave is any classification. I would put him, he'd be starting for any team in the state of Idaho if he was on their team. He's just that kind of player. Dave is a generational talent in Kamiah, and they've had some good ones. I mean, we go back to, there's been some state records broken last year that belonged to a Kamiah Cub. So Dave's just another in the long line of great Kamiah players.
Absolutely. Glenn, who are you looking forward to seeing this week?
Oh, I already gave it away a minute ago. It's Tyson Charlie. I'm anxious. This guy averages almost 8 assists a game. And let alone he's up around 24 points a game, 8 assists a game, and you're the leading scorer with a whole bunch of points. That tells me that he can take it to the rim. All right, it could be hard to guard going there. So then you got to start guard that a little bit. Fakes to the rim, pulls up for a jump shot. How do you guard him? It's going to be fun to watch this guy, and I'm excited to see what he can do on the court.
All right, so you talked about the standouts. I'm looking at this list here. I mean, this is obviously the players to watch, but I mean, this is just an all-star lineup here. I mean, top to bottom, and a lot of these names we've been calling in other sports for many years. And some of these guys are finally getting to the end of their careers, like Dave Clute up in Kamiah. And so it's kind of a hurrah send-off for him. And coming in as the number 1 seed Kamiah, and I'm just one of those guys that I likes that story of finishing strong. And, I think it'd be cool to see Kamiah go all the way and do that. Yeah. But let's take a look at what you guys think. Let's take a look. Here's the bracket. We're going to start with Glenn. Glenn, who's going to be in the championship and who's going to win?
It is going to be Valley, Kamiah with Valley on top. However, having said that, if Lakeside or Hagerman get in there, I would not be surprised that either one of them made the championship game, but I'm going with Valley, Kamiah, and Valley.
All right, Ryan, who do you have?
I feel like this bracket could be the one of upsets. At least on the top end, everybody looks at Valley, and they're a good team. Don't get me wrong. I think there's going to be an upset. I think Kamiah is going to be the title game. I could realistically see them playing the Hagerman-Kendrick winner. Both those teams, I think, are very deadly teams if they get in the championship. Kamiah is going to win, and it's not because of Dave Clute. They're going to win because of Lawson Landmark and Jaden Crow. I think those are two guys that you keep an eye on in the 2A tournament. They are just gritty players. They play super tough. They play hard. And, they'll be diving on the ground for loose balls, the type of guys you love to see. So if Kamiah wins, it's going to be because of the supporting cast around Dave Clute. That's no knock against him. He's great, but I think that his teammates are going to lift him to a title.
All right, this is your broadcast. Well, no, it's going to be Glenn Jones and Brandon. Ryan in at the 4A. He's helping out. But Glenn will be there at Valley View. Go on up and say hi. They'll be right there in the stands. Go up and say hi. And, of course, if you're from Victory Charter, just slap the crap out of Glenn Jones. That's fine. He likes it. He likes it.
You know what? It's the elder thing. It's the elder thing and the respect. or
Oh.
lack thereof.
Respect the elders. Yeah, you give me that
Hey.
speech every year, old man.
How much
Yeah.
dye do you use on your beard, by the way?
Yeah, you can leave the hate mail with Brandon. He'll bring it back to Coeur d'Alene for me.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
I absolutely dye my beard. Are you kidding? I'd be as white as you if I didn't. I'm single. I've got to pick up the chicks. I can't do that. You kidding me? All right, that's going to do it for the two-way boys state tournament. We've got one left. If Gary's not asleep, we're going to be back with that one right after this on IdahoSports.com.
Thanks, Ryan.